podcast of stuff.
Hello everybody, welcome to another mini podcast of stuff. It's Gaz here. Second one of these I've done, the first one being just after WrestleMania. Wayne hasn't, due to some technical difficulties, been able to watch Raw just yet. He may follow up on me later. If he actually manages to get that sorted, then he'll give you his thoughts on it as well. Just going to run through it quickly and hopefully look ahead to what's coming on Raw tomorrow, what we can hopefully expect to see. So in the Raw just gone, I have to say, this is probably my favourite Raw of the year. Absolutely fantastic. I do have some questions about it, but they're good questions. It's not a case of, why did they do that? It's more a case of, I like that they did that, I want to see where this goes. So basically the story at the moment, Shane McMahon, still, at least on screen, in charge of Monday Night Raw. Not acting as a heel authority figure, not really acting as an authority figure in general. It's more to do with the fact that he's coming out, making the odd match, then disappearing, leaving it to the wrestlers. The way it really should be, and I think the way most people want to see it now. We've kind of had enough of the same formula of Raw. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that. So some great matches anyway. Great to see Cesaro actually get a win over Kevin Owens. Excellent match, really enjoyed that. Things looking good for Cesaro on his return. It's good to see him getting a little bit of a push. I just hope it's not another one that stalls. Going to be optimistic though. Things do seem to be looking up in general. So maybe this is Cesaro's time. Maybe he's finally earned the chance now in their eyes. A few other things. They've started off a tag team tournament to see who basically goes against the New Day next. A lot of options on the table. We'll keep you posted on that one. There's a few decent teams in it. Don't want to go too heavily into it at the moment. As I said, this is a quick rundown. Looking at it also, other headlines from the show, was a big fan of Chris Jericho's highlight reel where he decided, like a true heel, he was going to interview himself, which was wonderful. Got interrupted by a personal fave, Dean Ambrose. Came out and essentially said that now the highlight reel has become the Ambrose Asylum, which I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's a permanent thing. Of course, the thing we know that's coming out of this is a Jericho-Ambrose feud. I'm all for that. I like Jericho as a heel, not so much as a face. I'm a massive Dean Ambrose fan. So the more people that are important that they put Dean Ambrose with, the more it solidifies him, the more likely he is to get that title run that I think he should eventually get. Looking also ahead then, a very sort of unexpected thing happened. Before the show, we had a card go up paying tribute to Blackjack Mulligan, a legendary wrestler, grandfather of Bray Wyatt. Now, I'm not sure how much impact this had on the main event, and I do hear that Bray is actually injured. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family interrupting the League of Nations as they're about to attack Roman Reigns, who of course was as popular as ever, getting booed out of the building. What's actually happened in this show, Bray Wyatt has teamed with Roman Reigns after a previous feud. It was a whole thing last summer of anyone but you, Roman. The Wyatts trying to stop Roman from being champion, trying to stop him from getting any success. I would say, having watched this, it looks as if they're going with the Bray Face Turn. Got a fantastic reaction from the crowd. Going forward from this, I'm not sure where it is. It depends on Bray's injury, how bad it is, how long he's out for. But I am really curious to see where they go with it. It's a very interesting story. I'm not quite sure how they're going to work it. And that's in a good way. I'm really curious to see how it plays out. That's how Raw ended. There was one moment before that which has got a lot of people talking, I know. The Bullet Club actually made their first appearance on Raw. Michael Cole even said that they were from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we got Luke Gallows and we got Carl Anderson. Now, of course, we know, or anybody who's watched anything of New Japan knows, there are links to Finn Balor from the past, who was the head of that club. There's also links to AJ Styles, who followed Finn. They are both now in WWE as well. That brings me to AJ, and I will crisscross on this. AJ had a match with Sami Zayn, the stipulation being if AJ wins, he's the sole challenger to Roman Reigns at the next pay-per-view, which is what we still call them because we've been trained to. If Sami Zayn won, he became part of a triple threat. As it turned out, AJ got the win. I thought both guys looked great. Sami, as always, fantastic charisma. The way he's able to get a crowd behind him is brilliant. What I'm curious about here is if AJ and the Bullet Club are going to cross over. I should imagine that they're going to reference it. The way I possibly see it going, AJ comes close to beating Roman. The Bullet Club cost him it, and we go from there. If Finn Balor will be involved, I think we'll have to see. I think that depends if Finn is going to be staying at NXT or can member to the main roster. But at some point, I think there's going to be some kind of interaction. So going forward, that's hopefully the thing that we're looking forward to the most. I don't expect the Bullet Club and AJ to necessarily go at it this week on Raw. Again, with Bray's injury, it's curious to see what happens there. The big question for me, are we going to stick with Shane for 3 weeks? Or are they going to get nervous? Are they going to pull Triple H back? Are they going to pull Stephanie back? I love both those performers. But the whole format of the show now has gone stale. We don't need heel authority figures at the moment. They need to hold off on that. And hopefully we can just have a wrestling show. Because for me, if I was grading this show at a 10, it's honestly getting probably an 8.5. And I may be even being a little stingy there. Fantastic show, top to bottom. No matches really that I didn't enjoy. As I said, the Bullet Club coming in, and they actually beat up the Usos, which I didn't mention. Unfortunately, I don't think the Usos long term are going to get a great deal out of this feud. Maybe we'll see some matches to introduce the Bullet Club, but I would expect them to pretty much bury the Usos. I think that's the way it's going. One other thing, last little PS on that. I'm happy to see Enzo and Cass continuing to make appearances, mixing it with the Dudley Boys. They're going to end up meeting in this tournament. Maybe they'll even cost each other the tournament and it'll just go into a feud. But that's a nice little side note, and I'm hoping that continues this week. So hopefully, as I said, we'll have another good show. I don't know if it can live up to being as good as this one was. So when Wayne and I have had a chance to discuss it, when we've watched this coming Monday's Raw, obviously we'll get together and we'll have a proper chat, something we didn't have a chance to do last week. So please, if you can, subscribe if you like the videos that we're putting up at the moment. The Twitter followers are going up. Thank you very much for anybody who's followed us on Twitter, anyone who's subscribing to us on YouTube or watching any of our videos. We're very small at the moment. We're trying to grow. We need everybody's help to do that. So if you need to follow us on Twitter, it's at Podcast of Stuff. You can email us, podcastofstuffwales@gmail.com. And as I said, don't feel afraid to comment, like the videos, all of that kind of stuff. The more interaction we get, the better it is for our podcast. Thank you very much to the hashtag Pod and Family on YouTube, who are doing a great deal to try and help promote this at the moment. As I said, guys, we'll try and keep these podcasts coming. The more interest we get, the more podcasts we'll do. We're happy to listen to feedback on different subjects. Obviously, we're big wrestling fans, as you can tell from this podcast. There's other stuff we like, superhero stuff, movies in general, music. We haven't really covered much football yet, but that's something I could do in the future if anybody has an interest in it. UFC, the same kind of thing. So thanks very much for listening, guys. There'll be more podcasts up this week. Please subscribe, and that way you'll get them as soon as we release them. Thanks for your time, guys. Bye.